Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at the book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. This book was the novel that became the movie Blade Runner. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Earth is a bleak, decaying world devastated by nuclear war, a conflict ominously referred to as World War Terminus. The atmosphere is saturated with radioactive dust, slowly eroding life and forcing most remaining humans to flee to off-world colonies. This sets the stage for Philip K. Dick's novel, and now, given our recent reading of Thomas Metzinger's Ego Tunnel, let's try and keep his self-theory in mind when interpreting this novel. A key theme in the novel is the question of what it means to be human. The narrative suggests that empathy is a defining human trait, separating humans from androids. However, this distinction is challenged when the story reveals that some humans lack empathy, while some androids may possess it. The so-called Voigt-Kampff test used to measure empathy is the only method to distinguish humans from androids. Over 50 of the T-14 androids, as he recalled, had made their way by one means or another to Earth and had not yet been detected for a period, in some cases up to one entire year. But then the Voigt empathy test had been devised by the Pavlov Institute working in the Soviet Union, and no T-14 android, insofar at least as was known, had managed to pass that particular test. We could argue that androids, like humans, simulate empathy by constructing representations of other minds in their own. From a Metzingerian perspective, the ethical question probably isn't whether androids feel genuine empathy, but whether their models are sufficient to engage in moral behavior. As Descartes, the protagonist, develops empathy for androids, we see human beings projecting their mental states onto others based on their own self-models, ultimately suggesting that the line between humans and androids is arbitrary. Rick Descartes, a bounty hunter tasked with so-called retiring or killing androids, is forced to confront this ambiguity. Androids are portrayed as highly intelligent, sometimes more than humans, but they lack empathy, a quality presented as essential to personhood. This raises a provocative question. If an entity can think and act like a human, is empathy the only dividing line between humans and machines? Also, there is sufficient nuance in the way that the author treats human characters. Some human characters are referred to as chicken heads, ant heads, and specials. These are all derogatory terms used for humans who are either mentally impaired or deemed genetically inferior by society in this post-apocalyptic world of the novel. Maybe when you deteriorate back down the ladder of evolution, as I have, when you sink into the tomb world slough of being a special, well, best to abandon that line of inquiry. Nothing depressed him more than the moment in which he contrasted his current mental powers with what he had formerly possessed. Every day he declined in sagacity and vigor. He and the thousands of other specials throughout Terra, all of them moving towards the ash heap. So such labels arise as a result of the devastating effects of World War Terminus, which has left Earth heavily irradiated and caused widespread genetic damage. So the claim that empathy is the sole factor that constitutes a human is being eroded by humans devaluing fellow humans on the grounds of their genetic or mental fitness. As discussed in previous videos, Thomas Metzinger delves into the ethical implications of artificial intelligence, particularly regarding entities that simulate human condition and emotion. In Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the androids prompt us to consider what constitutes personhood and how we should ethically treat non-human entities. Dick challenges the anthropocentric view that privileges biological life over artificial life, leaving us to question whether the distinction between human and non-human is truly valid. Under UN law, each immigrant automatically received possession of an android subtype of his choice, and by 1990, the variety of subtypes passed all understanding in the manner of American automobiles after the 1960s. That had been the ultimate incentive of emigration: the android servant as carrot, the radioactive fallout as stick. If personhood is based on having a self-model, then androids, despite their artificial origins, may qualify as persons if they develop their own self-models. One could argue that personhood is a functional property of complex self-models rather than a metaphysical fact rooted in biology. Mercerism, a central religion in the novel, revolves around Wilbur Mercer, a figure who endlessly climbs a hill while being pelted with rocks, symbolizing perpetual suffering. Through empathy boxes, humans fuse with Mercer, sharing his suffering and connecting emotionally with others experiencing the same thing. This process creates a collective sense of empathy and unity. He had crossed over in the usual perplexing fashion, physical merging accompanied by mental and spiritual identification with Wilbur Mercer had reoccurred. As it did for everyone who at this moment clutched the handles either here on Earth or on one of the colony planets. Mercerism offers a critique of how humans in their quest for meaning fabricate shared experiences through artificial means. While empathy is central to Mercerism, androids are excluded. But the twist comes when Mercerism is revealed later in the novel to be a fabrication. The falsity of Mercerism undermines the supposed moral superiority of human empathy. If humans require a fabricated deity to feel empathy, are they truly superior to androids? This self-reflection lies at the heart of Dick's critique of humanity. The post-apocalyptic setting introduces the themes of blurred boundaries between organic and artificial life. In a world where real animals are rare and valuable, synthetic animals and increasingly human-like androids dominate the landscape. The novel challenges us to question what it means to value life and whether distinctions between the real and the artificial, the human and the non-human, are legitimate. The novel also explores human emotion, artificiality, and autonomy by introducing the mood organ. A mood organ is a device that allows individuals to dial in and experience specific emotional states on demand. If you dial, Aaron said, eyes open and watching, for greater venom, then I'll dial the same. I'll dial the maximum and you'll see a fight that makes every argument we've ever had up to now seem like nothing. Dial and see, just try me. Characters use the mood organ to control their emotional responses in a highly controlled artificial environment where emotions are often manipulated as a form of coping with the bleak, post-apocalyptic reality they inhabit. The novel not only critiques the definitions of humanity but also anticipates contemporary debates about artificial intelligence and consciousness. Androids in the novel exhibit self-preservation, independence, and rebellion. This raises a crucial question. If machines can think, resist, and desire survival, when do we recognize them as sentient beings? Why did I have to buy a goat? The best way to resolve the tension between me and the androids is through an act of possession. Rick Deckard's purchase of a live animal, contrasted with his killing of androids, encapsulates the struggle to maintain outdated distinctions about what is alive or worthy of empathy. The novel critiques consumerism and the dehumanizing effects of technology on society. As we face the growing implications of AI and the human-machine divide today, Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep remains a relevant and cautionary tale, forcing us to confront the limits of empathy, identity, and the ethics of creating beings in our own image. Philip K. Dick was a genius. The eerie part of his creation is that sadly a lot of the dystopia seems to be coming to pass today. So I highly recommend you read this book, if only to get some insight into a possible future timeline, however bleak it might be. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.